Welcome to PKC This Week. Where we talk all things professional kennel club. Found only on Cane Stream Media. Brought to you by Elite Nutrition, Joy Dog Food, and the Professional Kennel Club. Now, let's start the show.
Want more great working dog action? Join Cane Stream today and get exclusive and early access to some of our best content like our Dog Life series, Kennel Talk, early access to Elite Handler Series events, and the Fueled by Joy Working Dog podcast, plus weekly product giveaways and other members-only perks. So join today and help us keep getting bigger and better for our amazing viewers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another PKC This Week. This week, I am joined by Shane Patton once again. Shane, we had a little delay. You live in probably the armpit of the world, and it's a miracle you guys even have working electricity. But apparently you do, and it was out today, huh?
It was. Yeah, we got the conveyor belts back up, windmills going. We're back in power now.
Got the hamster back on the wheel.
Yes, hamster's back on the wheel, and we're back to shoveling coal in the pit. We're good. Electricity's rolling.
Well, we got a good show for you guys today. We're going to talk about starting a club through the Professional Kennel Club. We're going to talk about a big hunt coming up here in Oklahoma, and then we're going to talk some rules. But let's start with Oklahoma, Shane. What is that? Is that down in Neosho, Miami? Where's that at?
It's Miami. It's Neosho 32. They've had it the last couple years. Dale Kinder, Ryan Croson,
Yeah,
kind of head that at the Buffalo Run Casino. 3,500 entry gets you 2 nights of qualifying. Got to win 2 casts same night, early and late, either tonight or tomorrow night, and then and put you in the finals there. And 40,000 first, 40, 20, 10, and 76 first, second, third, fourth. And if they choose to split, which I know is not a Michaela's favorite, but 19,375 is a pretty good split too. So
that is now. I'm a fan of splitting when it makes sense. You get me in one of these 2,500 2-night hunts or something. Hey, banana split me up. I'll make my money. I'll go home. I won't worry about losing a whole entry fee just because I got 4th in a late round.
Exactly.
But there are times when that first place money is so much more than the split, like the $100,000 hunt.
Yep.
And plus, when I'm not in it and I just want to film it, selfishly, I'm like, you guys need to quit being ladies and quit splitting these things. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. I've always said it's really easy if you're not one of the 4 guys lined up to say hunt. You're one of the 4 guys lined up, and that money's on the line. It's a little different every time. It's just a different to be holding the dog and stay on the other side.
There are hunts that make sense to split, just from a financial standpoint. And most of the guys that are in these, 1,500 and up pro classics are usually splitting what they win. They've got a partner or they've got an owner that's paying the entry and all that stuff. And so, from an owner standpoint, sometimes it makes sense to split too. You can get your entry fee back, get your handler paid, get a little extra,
Absolutely.
stuff like that too. So yeah, it makes sense at times.
Paid for your weekend, got a little extra cash in the pocket, and see you next weekend.
Yeah. But as a handler, man, that $100,000 hunt, it would be hard to turn down a chance of 100, even if it is a 25% chance.
Absolutely.
It would be hard to turn down a chance at 100,000.
It also depends, I should say, on how your dog's looking. Maybe you squeaked by a 25 minus on a bad cast. You're like, I'm taking my split and going home. I'm not
I'm
taking
the
that.
opposite. If I dominate that early round, I'm just like, yeah, let's split because my dog done shot every bullet in its gun.
You've
It's
just
out.
used
I'm empty.
every coon
Yes.
possible. Yeah, I
Yes.
understand. I
It's only
understand.
capable of 4 coons a night, and it's already treated them all in the early round. Let's just go ahead and split this bad boy.
Just go to bed. Yeah, time for bed. I understand.
But that's what'd you say? That's the third year they're having that hunt?
I think it's the third year. Yeah. It's at the, I want to call it the Buffalo Run. I'm not sure if
It is
that's
the Buffalo Run. It
Buffalo
is the
Run.
Buffalo
Yes,
Run, yes.
that is correct. Buffalo Run. Um, like I said, it's been there the last couple of years. I think this is the third. This is the third annual Neosho
Yeah.
River 32. So, and like I said, Ryan and Dale Kinder and Nathan Guthrie and they
Yes.
pretty well take care of it and get it set up. And we sure appreciate them doing it. And I think it'll be a good weekend. It's going to be a
That'd be the same
that,
crew that sets up the $10,000
it
entry
is. Yes.
hunt down there at
Yes.
Miami too. And that's not at the Buffalo Run. I think that's at a different casino. I was at it last year. It was a blast. Um,
And coons treed. My goodness, they treat
oh
coons out
yes,
there.
they treat
Wow.
because
They
when you
treat
got
them.
that many dogs at that many entries, would they
Yeah.
have they end up having to get two 16 dog hunts if I remember right last year. They
Oh,
filled the first one so fast for the $10,000
yes, they
entry.
did. It was two. Yeah, it was two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
filled the first one so fast that they went ahead and added a
You got a
second one. They
second.
filled it too.
Yes. Yes.
$320,000 worth of entries
Yep.
and a huge cash payout for them
Yeah.
guys making the Final Four every night.
It was a very, very good hunt. Like I said, in coons and everybody I talked to was in exceptional hunting. Walking in a
Yep.
park, it was said numerous
Yes.
times. I think
Yeah, the pecan
those
bottoms are
bottoms they got
fantastic down
there
there.
are just
Yeah.
top of the
I know
line.
I filmed a cast with Sean Burden, Joe Manning, Cheyenne Cummings, and it was awesome. Man, we had
Yeah,
an awesome hunt. Yep.
it's good out there. It is good territory.
So, all right, pay attention to prohound.com, I guess, for all the updates on that hunt this weekend.
Yep, we'll have the early round matchups and of course winners, late round matchups, winners. We'll all the way through the weekend and we'll have be right here on prohound.com and on Facebook, of course.
Yep. And then that club is not really a club. I assume when they do, because you don't, there's a lot of them pro classics that are held at big venues, the
Sure,
Muddy, the
sure.
whatever like that, and so that's not necessarily, I mean, there's clubs around that assist
Yeah,
with those hunts.
yeah.
But when we're
And,
talking about starting a PKC club, and you can have those hunts at just a regular old club. You don't have to have them,
at
you
a
can have a,
casino or anything. No,
yeah,
there's no, obviously the nicer the venue, the better, the bigger. But
right.
if you want to have it at your club and you've got the room and can make it work, absolutely. There's
Yeah.
no requirement to have a big venue.
What are the requirements for starting a club? Say someone's listening to this and they say, I've got 6, 8 hunters here pretty close.
Yep.
I've got, the time to do the paperwork, the time to fill the cards in. I enjoy doing it.
Sure.
Let's get 3 or 4 guys together and let's start a PKC Coon Club. What do they have to get that started?
Well, so the first thing you need to do is go online to prohound.com and go to our documents and forms section and print off the preliminary club application.
Yeah.
And it's pretty self-explanatory from that point on, really. It's got obviously you need to know the location, surrounding clubs, because we do have a 25-mile radius around a
Right.
club that nobody can come in on. So you got to have the distance has to be right. You can't have a club within 25 miles. President, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. Got to have those offices. There'll be a spot on there. You put your officers. Also, you need 10 members, PKC members preferably, but the club is first starting, that's not a requirement. We'd sure like for them to be, but as they get going, hopefully they become members. And then you got your hunt director and your alternate hunt director. And if somebody just starting a club and needs to become a hunt director, the same spot that you printed off the preliminary club application is your hunt director apprenticeship that you go and set under 3 different hunt directors, see how it works, see what they do, they sign off, and then you're approved as a hunt director. So I guess step 1, if you don't have a hunt director, is get that hunt director apprenticeship done. And then step 2 is get this application filled out, self-explanatory, members, officers, location, and a short description of your building. Building, 2 rooms, bathroom, whatever description you want. You send it in to us. We discuss it with the state president, whatever state it is. Say, hey,
Yep.
is there any issues here that you can see? None. We get you approved. Send you a packet out. You fill out your hunt dates, send it in, and you got a hunt. You got a club.
It's also really important to know who your state president is and work closely with them on anything professional kennel club related.
Absolutely. And there,
Yeah.
if you don't know who your state president is for whatever reason, they're all online on the message forum. Each
Yeah.
state has a
I think mine's still Yan, ain't it?
it is. It is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, double check it.
Oh
I'm
no, no,
telling everybody,
Missouri.
make sure they know, and I don't know.
You're in Missouri. That's Chris
Yeah.
Freiberger now. Yan
Oh,
is
is he state president?
yeah, yeah. Yan is
Okay.
Walker president. Yan went
Oh, that's right.
from Missouri to Walker president, and Chris took Missouri. So
I got you.
he was your president, but now he's Walker president, and Chris is Missouri.
Well, Steve Yan will always be my president.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, but
So,
they are all listed online, phone numbers, and if you can't find her for whatever reason, shoot me a text. I'll get you
yeah.
the president, and we'll get you the number.
And then it sounds, I mean, but there's really not that many steps. It's basically fill the paperwork out, do the apprenticeship, send it in. The
Absolutely.
odds of one not being approved. Is there any requirements on where they can have it, where they can actually hold the hunts?
We obviously don't want them in their house.
Yeah.
And I know that people have offices or other
Mm-hmm.
buildings that they hold some in, and that's perfectly fine. We just don't really want them at John and Joe's house,
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
living room. If you've
But
got
I've been to a lot of clubs that have an outside building that is
absolutely.
perfectly suited for it and stuff like that. You know,
Absolutely.
a shop or something like that.
Most of them are. Most of them are a shop.
Yeah.
Some of them are their own building that were established,
Yeah.
40 years ago. But a lot of them are in a tire shop or in the machine shop or in the hunting club or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. There's no real requirement there. We like to have a bathroom, obviously, for
Right.
the participants. Just not in the home is the
And
main requirement.
it's important when you're starting these new clubs too to be fairly, I mean, because yeah, the addresses are usually on the website when you see them on the schedule and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But even on a Tuesday night, Thursday night, weekday night hunt, something that's not as big, you may have an added first hunt and everybody's going to know where it's at. You're going to put the signs up, you're going to get the food,
Sure.
you're going to get all that stuff. But it's important to keep that same mentality for even the small weekday hunts, just so everybody's welcome at your club and do all that stuff.
Absolutely. Welcome them with open arms, and they're bound to come back. That's what I say.
Yes.
Is and there's a lot of I won't start naming them because there's a bunch of them. We have a lot of good clubs across the country that guys go above and beyond
Yeah.
to make sure the club is ran right and the people are happy.
Yep.
All over the country, we're very fortunate to have some very good clubs.
What was your when you were back competing, what was your favorite club to go to
My
before you were
favorite
with PKC?
club to go to. Oh, I'd have to think about that a minute. I really, really liked Good Springs, Alabama.
Yeah, I was
Still
getting ready to
do.
say Good Springs. Yeah.
It was it's about 4 hours from my house. Always in good hunting, always good people. They have, not to put them on a pedestal or anything, but they got one of the strongest clubs in the country.
Yeah.
Uh, Participation. They got a lot of hunters there locally who participate and help run the club. You got, Brad and Drake and Jackson,
Right.
and you got a slew of people who and they put on a good hunt. You don't have to worry about is your guide, what's the guide
Yeah.
situation. You show up, you enter, they take care of the rest. Good place to hunt, good hunting. It was one of my favorites by far.
I like Good Springs because you can have did you see the Final Four from their like $500 Pro Classic or something like that the other day?
Austin
It was like
Gentry,
Austin Gentry, Michael Ward,
yeah,
Dustin Weed, and everything. I'm just like, that's a tough place to win, even at a smaller hunt.
Absolutely. That's what they've said for years. A $35 hunt could be a world final there. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Seneca, Missouri's the same way.
yeah, exactly.
You got
places like that all over the country where
Mhm.
Good Springs is one example. Seneca, Missouri, another example.
Mercer, Missouri used to be like that, but now mine and Jed's dogs all suck. and Jeremy quit. And so it's not, if we have a hunt here, you guys need your 101, come to Mercer, Missouri. We're not very good at that.
I understand.
Yeah. Bring that pup over here. He'll
Yeah.
probably dominate us.
It's an easy win. Easy 100 over there.
Yeah,
Easy
that's
100.
right.
That's right.
All right, let's finish this off with the rules question, Shane, like we always do. And we talked a little bit before we started recording this. One of the most misinterpreted rules are dogs being declared treed in the same general area as a dog that's already treed and his tree time is up. So
Okay.
say the first dog is treed, the 3 minutes are up. Let's say, for instance, another dog is struck in. It comes in after the tree time is up. It's the handler declares it treed in that area. What is the protocol for the judge there, and how is that scored from the time the guy trees the dog until the tree is scored?
Okay. So when the guy trees the dog, he's at 125. He goes in for 125. There's nothing else available. Right. The tree's closed. He's got first tree. So write him down 125, proceed on to the tree. When you get into the tree, you see they're together. Obviously, you handle both dogs and immediately delete the second dog that treed late.
Yeah.
You delete that tree immediately. It doesn't matter what's going on. That tree's deleted. He's been handled on a tree with a dog declared treed. He's deleted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people, this is where the confusion kind of starts. Some people want to minus the tree, which is not the case. He is deleted. But the strike, if that dog does not have a line under his strike,
right,
and coon is seen in that tree, he's getting minus the strike.
Yeah.
That strike will be minus. If he has a line under his strike, then the tree and the strike are deleted as soon as the dog is handled. Yep. So one thing people forget about is the strike aspect. Even though he's treed on this dead tree and he's there and his tree is deleted, his strike is still live if there's a coon seen up that tree, and he doesn't have a line under it.
If that tree is circled or minus, what do they do with the strike then?
Delete the strike.
Yep.
Delete the strike.
Okay. The only time he is minus if a coon is seen.
Correct. That's correct.
Yep.
Any other outcome is a minus. Or I'm sorry, is a delete. Is a delete.
To expand on that, as a handler, and I don't think this is taken advantage of enough. What reason, especially if you've got a line through your strike, or even if you don't, even if your strike is open, you've got nothing to lose really treeing that dog. Unless you think he might pack his stuff up and leave, and you're going to take 125 minus. But there's oftentimes you get up there and those dogs are 5 feet apart and the trees don't touch, and maybe you got a coon, maybe he doesn't.
Numerous times at the end of a hunt, a dog's treed. You like you said, he's got nothing. I mean, if you need a coon to win or a circle tree to win, whatever it may be, sure. Tree me for 125, and on the way in, I'll say a small prayer, hoping he's 10 feet over. And if he's not, well, so be it. Delete my 125, and if I get minus my 25, I was going to lose anyway. I was beat. So I mean, it's a chance worth taking. Like you said, the only thing, if you can't afford 125 minus, you better make sure he's going to be there and not pack up. But
another thing that can happen is the dog that treed first leaves.
Exactly.
And you're still in for 125, even though you may have been on the same tree.
Absolutely. And when that dog leaves and packs up, there's no way to know if they were 5 feet apart, 10 feet apart, same tree, or 200 yards apart. You've got a live tree. So there's not a lot to lose, but you better make sure he's going to stay, because there's no helping that. If he's gone, that's 120. So
on the note to end it with, one more question on the tree rules. A dog is treed for 125. Another dog is treed for 25. The dog that is treed for 125, and they're treed on the same tree, but the dog that is treed for 125, it leaves. It takes a minus. Does that dog that is treed for 25 move up, or does it stay at 25?
Has to stay at 25.
Yes.
No choice. You don't know. Together, separate. You don't have a clue. The dog that treated for 125, he's no longer here. This dog cannot move up. He has to stay at his 25. if there's 10 possums, 10 coons, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's still got to stay at his
And
25.
it doesn't matter if it was 4 dogs treed
Yep,
in that general, unless the judge absolutely knows 100% they're split before the dog are handled. There's no
absolutely.
way they
If
can move up.
you got dogs treated for 125, 75, 50, and 25. If you get
Yeah.
there and 25 is the only thing left, he's got to stay at 25. He doesn't have a choice.
What if you get there? And now that we're doing hypotheticals, what if you get there and the dog that is treated for 125 has left, has received his minus,
Mhm.
and the other 3 dogs are split very close together in the same vicinity, but they are not on the same tree?
125 for each one of them.
Really? How do you know which tree that dog left?
Oh, you're talking about, I'm sorry, you 125
The
left.
dog treat for
I'm,
125
I'm
has
sorry.
left and got his minus.
Everybody's staying at
Yeah.
75, 50, and 25 because you have
Ain't
no
that
idea
that
where
that's a heart
125 is at. Yeah.
yes, that's a heartbreaker as a handler. And that
Yeah,
happens more
absolutely.
often than people think.
Oh, it does. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, and you might feel, well, I think he was left-handed. Well, you might
Yeah.
think we have no idea really where he was at. You've got to stay 75, 50, 25. And even you can even go a step further. Everybody's treed, and you get in there, and the dog that's treed for 50 is gone, and the
Yep.
dog that's treed for 25 is split. You don't have any choice but to leave them that way.
Yep.
You can't. There's nothing somebody ahead of you has took some minus. You're probably going to have to stay where you're at. You're
Yeah.
not going to have a choice. You can't be moved up, and it stinks
Yeah.
as a handler, but that's just part of it. That's just the
I
best.
mean, you can always, and we're going to go through, I think next week a good thing to go through is the question process and how it goes from putting your question in the woods all the way to your panel appeal and all that in certain circumstances too, because you can question it and say, hey, my dog's over here, and you can go through the whole process and all
Sure.
that stuff. I mean, there's some things a handler can do if he thinks that his dog was split the whole time. Probably not going to work because, but
I mean,
there's things you can do. Yeah.
if everybody else disagrees, it's probably not going to work. But you've got the right.
Yeah.
That's why it's in there, and we can talk about that next week. The whole process. But that's
Yeah.
why the
I think,
question
I think
process is in there.
yeah, I think the question, because it's such an important process, probably one of the most important processes as a
Absolutely,
handler, to
absolutely.
be able to know how it goes, know how to conduct yourself, all that stuff. So,
And there's
yeah, I think that'd be
a lot of people who don't quite understand how the process fully
yes,
works. They know they need to, raise a question and put $25 on there, but after that, people kind of
yes.
don't really understand how it works. So yeah, we can go over it next week. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good topic for next week. Shane, you got anything else to add before we shut this down?
Nope. I appreciate everybody and good luck in Miami and across the country this weekend. We'll see you next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is This Week in PKC. This is Josh Michaelis. That is Shane Patton. And we'll see you all next week.